It's me back again, 5 days post-op from carpal tunnel surgery. So I kind of want to give you a little bit of an update. Carpal tunnel surgery was done on Monday, and today is Saturday. So, it hasn't been nearly as bad as I thought. I will say that the most thing that I've dealt with this week is feeling like I'm carrying around a piece of coal in my hand because I have about a 2-inch incision. I think it goes this way. In my hand from basically where they released a band that was pressing down on my carpal tunnel nerve, causing all kind of havoc. So today's day 5. I can honestly say that this surgery has not been as bad as what I thought it would be, and that thought kept me from having surgery for many years. A long time ago, 15, 20 years ago, we had friends and people that we knew that had carpal tunnel surgery. It was way different back then. And a lot of them, said it was worse afterwards, which is very scary to me because I'm like, this can't get any worse. I would not be able to handle it. But we've had people recently who said, oh my gosh, it's totally different. This has been great. Wish I would have done it a long time ago. So almost 5 months to the day, I had rotator cuff surgery, which I desperately needed. And I was terrified, but I had that surgery and everyone said it was going to be terrible. Everyone said recovery was going to be terrible. It just wasn't. I'm very thankful that I had the surgery. It definitely helped so much. I'm still recovering from it, but it kind of ripped off the band-aid of being scared to have surgeries done that I need. For this carpal tunnel surgery, I didn't know for many years that was coming from my carpal nerve. I had been told for many years that the issues that I was having was coming from my neck, which is very scary for me to think about having neck surgery. But it just so happened that I spoke to my surgeon who did my shoulder about what had been going on, and he said, well, let's just do a nerve conduction test. And we did, so we'll get into that a little bit. Some of the things that were happening to make me even want to or consider having surgery was that I couldn't sleep. And when I say I couldn't sleep, I mean like for the last 3 or 4 years. I will wake up all during the night, bloodshot, red hands on both sides, because my fingers and sometimes my arms would just be so numb that they feel like they would just break off. That's how it felt. Of course, they weren't actually going to do that, but that's how they felt from being numb for hours. It would take me hours to go back to sleep. This is not something that you can just kind of shake out, because it's not that I was pressing on a vein and then when I moved or readjusted or shook it out, it would fix. It was because of a nerve issue. And so no matter the shaking, no matter the sitting up, no matter the stretching, it just wouldn't go away. And so it would be this vicious cycle every day of me not being able to sleep, being exhausted going to work. A whole bunch of other health problems stem from not being able to go to sleep. And so this was just a vicious cycle. So when I spoke to my surgeon about it, it was one of my follow-ups for my shoulder, and he was like, well, have you ever had a nerve conduction test? And I said, well, no. And he's like, great, let's get that scheduled. We'll figure out if it's coming from your neck or from something else, and we'll create a plan, which is what we did. So I go to the doctor's office, and there's a big machine in this room and a place for me to sit and a place for my husband to sit. And my husband looks at the machine and he goes, wow, that kind of looks like an ultrasound machine. Now, my husband's a man, he's never carried a baby, so of course I'm thinking that does not look like an ultrasound machine. There's prongs. Like the machine has the handle and 2 prongs. Look like an electrocution machine. And essentially that's what it was. So for lack of better words, what they do is there's these 3 nerves in your arm that go all the way up to your neck. I'm sure there are more, but these 3 main ones, the middle one being the carpal nerve. I don't know the other 2 because my issue is with the middle one, so that's the one I know about. But essentially, they shocked bzz, bzz, all the way on all 3 nerves, and they track it. Basically, they want to know like the response time to when you're, I guess, feeling it. It's pretty like, it's not super painful, but it is intense. It's a lot more intense than what I imagined. And basically they hypothesize on where this issue is coming from. My doctor was able to see immediately, like, this is your carpal nerve. To test that hypothesis, they do the second part of the nerve conduction test, which involves needles, which I'm definitely afraid of, but evidently more afraid of not sleeping for the rest of my life. So they liken it to acupuncture, which I've had acupuncture. I've had everything to try to figure this out in the last several years. This is not like acupuncture to me, but the needles are small. And basically they take the needle and they put it in the muscle and kind of move it around to get a response to see if their hypothesis on what's going on is correct. Overwhelmingly so was this a carpal tunnel issue for me. And my doctor was very surprised at how bad I had it, being how young I am. They wanted to know if I operated machinery or if I was a hygienist or if I drove for a living. And I'm like, no, I guess I'm just lucky because this has been quite an issue. Although I will say, my real estate business for 7 years, thousands of miles in the car. I doubt that's what it was. I don't know. But it's strange to me that I said, well, I was a bank teller. I did this. I type all the time. And they were like, are you sure you don't drive for a living? That was what they said. And I did actually evidently learn that when you're holding the steering wheel, it does vibrate and it is bad for your carpal nerve. So now I drive a little differently. Anyways, story for another time. So once it was determined that this is a carpal issue, I got scheduled for surgery. I was scared, to say the least, about having surgery. I'm scared of anesthesia, have 5 kids, I want to wake up, that kind of thing. But the staff and everybody was so great. It was just not as scary as it was the first time. You know, lots of prayers said, all the things. But basically, this has been, in 5 days, a huge, huge difference in my life, meaning that I can sleep. Now I'm still, dealing with this one. This is my dominant hand, but it wasn't the one that had the most issues. It was this one actually. And so we decided to go ahead with this one because it's the worst, but also because I'm still recovering from rotator cuff surgery, I didn't want to have to stop moving and stop using this for 2 weeks. Because while that doesn't seem like a lot, being that I'm still working on strength and I'm still working on mobility, I just didn't want to set myself back 2 weeks if I had another option, which I do. But the sleep this week has been so much better than it has been in a long time. And that's not due to pain medications, because I know some of you would be like, well, you're probably taking, no, I haven't taken pain medication since day 2. I haven't taken, ibuprofen, Tylenol, nothing this whole week. It just hasn't warranted that for me. Again, it just feels like a piece of coal. It's annoying more than anything. When it would get too much, I'd put my ice pack on it. And you guys saw that in some of my other videos. But ultimately, this has made me really tired. And thankfully, I've been able to sleep and rest. And so just really hasn't been what I expected it to be, pain-wise. And it also hasn't been what I expected it to be as far as I have been so tired. And I'm so thankful that I've been able to be out of work, to heal and rest from this, because I have just been exhausted. Even just going and prepping lunches, it takes forever. I did that on a video the other day. After that, I have to go and lay down. I'm just really tired. So that part did surprise me. But then again, I haven't slept in forever. So I guess my body wants to catch up. One thing that I will say that one of my sisters asked me about was showering, because this is a soft cast. I cannot take it off until my appointment next week. And after surgery, when I'm waking up from anesthesia, they're like, oh, you can't shower for 2 days. And I was like, okay, sure. Always listen to your doctors. I ordered this amazing thing off of Amazon. It's like a huge boxing glove or Santa Claus glove, whatever you want to call it. This has been my saving grace for showers. The first day I used it, I was still swollen, and I could definitely tell that it puffed my fingers back up. So I kind of adjusted where I put it. My arms are kind of fluffy, as you can see. So instead of putting it up here, I put it here. It covers it. This thing is amazing. And since I'm getting ready to take a shower and get ready for my day, I thought I would show you. This would be great if your kid had a cast, or if you had a cast as an adult, you're going on vacation or showers or whatever, but I can't say enough. This thing is super tight. And I mean super tight. But essentially, I'm just in the shower like this so that my fingers don't swell up, and I'm able to get clean. I haven't had any issues with this thing. This thing has been amazing. There's not any leaks. I'm talking, if you have to have something like this dry, this is it. This has been one of my go-tos this week. Between this and having someone else do my hair, I was actually able to get my hair in a bun myself today, so I'm pretty happy. Able to start getting my pants pulled up by myself again, because again, day 2 and 3, this was hurting pretty bad yesterday, and today it's been much better. So lots of good things. Sleep, lots of sleep. So I guess I'm coming on here to say there are tools if you need them. If you need to have surgery, or if you're not sure if you need to have surgery, or if there's anything going on in your life that's causing your health to go down, like this, not sleeping for 3 years, I can't tell you. Like, it has been, it's been a lot. It's been a lot to deal with. It's been a lot for my family to deal with, because when you don't get sleep, you're not always exactly in the best, most jolly mood. And so all I can say is don't be afraid to have the things done, or to have the conversations that you need to make yourself better. In 5 days, I can already see a huge difference. And I mean, I might have something different to say in 20 or 30 days, and hopefully it's much better. And I'll be getting this one done. But I'm just coming on here to encourage you. Have the things that you need to have done. Don't be afraid. I wish so badly I dealt with shoulder problems forever. I wish so badly I would have dealt with it sooner. It took an injury, re-injury, for me to get my shoulder surgery. But I'm glad, because it led me to not being afraid to look more into this. So take care of yourself. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. And I'm about to hit the shower. So y'all got to get out of here. Bye.